Step 6, you're now going to add a little personality to your character. This can be daunting if you've not role-played before, but this is where you get to fill in some things about your character. Now, I can put in my name. I could probably have done that right at the start. I could give my character a name as well. Let's call her Theodora. Okay, so straight away I've said her. There's no actual... So some have a space for gender. This one doesn't. I'm going to say that she is a neutral good character. This might be a little bit tricky, so you might want to come back to it after you've had a little think. I'm going to give her some personality traits. You can go into as much detail as you like on this. A good way of doing it is well, there's a few tips I can give you. First, listen to the other people who are in your group, who are in your adventuring party, what their characters are like, and think, okay, how do I want to fit in with them? You don't want a situation where everyone in the party is the reckless and outrageous one, because that's all, it's going to get really tiring really fast. You don't want everyone in the party to be the cautious one, because that, means you're probably not going to get very much done because everyone's being too careful. You want balance in your party, and it also might be nice to say, okay, I'm going to make my character your character's cousin. First campaign I ever played with, I had an elvish character, and when we were making my friend's half-elf character, she made her his cousin. That obviously they were half-elven and elven respectively, so that put an interesting dynamic in their relationship, in that he was way older, but she looked older, and he was really immature, because in elf culture you're not considered mature until you're at least 100 years old. But they had an interesting dynamic because of that. So you can set up those interesting dynamics in your party by just talking to the other people in your group. You could also describe your character to an AI like Artflow. I'll put the link in the description, and see what the AI thinks they look like. And that might help you fill in some of the physical details. In Xanathar's Guide to Everything, there's also a section called This Is Your Life, which has a load of rollable tables, which you can either pick or roll on to decide what your character is like. And you can also ask your DM for a trinket, which is usually a completely valueless item that just informs something about your character. So, one of the possible trinkets is a glass orb, and I had a character who pretended that was her spellcasting focus, and it wasn't. It's just a valueless glass orb, but it tells you a little bit about her character, that she's this sort of fake fortune teller. You can imagine her set up on a pier, conning people into believing that she's actually this divination caster. So that a little trinket can tell you something about the character. Or you can also get someone to ask you random questions about your character and see what you make up on the spot. Say like, oh, why did you leave home? Well, my parents were destitute and we had to move, and they didn't have room for me anymore. That could be a reason why you left the place that you were born. Just make up the answers on the spot, see what you come up with. Remember that your character's backstory needs to be appropriate for the setting that you're in and for your level. So, if you're in a setting that is very low magic, don't pretend you came from this um, you know, cloud-based wizarding academy, because such a thing probably doesn't exist in your setting, and your DM would probably quite put out, I think, with the effort they put into to crafting the game, for you to just turn around and go, and I'm not going to listen to anything you've said at all. Listen to your DM. Listen to your fellow players when they say that what they've done, before making your character. And it should be appropriate to your level. Don't say, oh yeah, I slew a dragon with my bare fists when you're a level 1, because that's just ridiculous. Front story is also really important. What do you want? What guiding principles do you follow? And what motivates you? Have a think about these questions. So these ideals, bonds, and flaws. Ideals, why are you adventuring? What do you believe in? So everyone has a right to be not to be judged. For their appearances. My character, I'm going to say, has body image issues. She feels that she's overweight. And this informs how she sees the world. And it's been a struggle for her. And all of a sudden, from that one statement, I'm starting to build a picture of who Theodora is. What are her bonds? Why is she adventuring? She wants to prove herself to her grandfather. Her grandfather was a famous adventurer, and she wants the approval of this man who she loves so much. Every hero should have a flaw. What is this character bad at? I think she struggles to control her emotions. She lets her emotions get the better of her. She's a very passionate individual, and she lets her emotions get the better of her. It's okay to leave a little bit blank. I would definitely fill in name, all of these. I'm going to say that she's got a sweet tooth, and a sense of adventure. She likes adventuring. I would put in 2 personality traits and 1 of each of the other things, just as a basic outline of who this person is. I do the alignment, but it might want to be the last thing you do. The age. This is going to be quite difficult because obviously she's half elf, half orc. She's half in between this very, not very long-lived race and this very long-lived race. So I'm going to say she's 35. Which is an adult, but still pretty youthful. She's going to be a bit on the heavy side. I'm going to say that she's maybe 200 pounds. I presume that's, if not overweight, then at least, a decent weight for 6 foot. Obviously, you can put this in kilos if you're more comfortable in kilos, and the same with the height. You can put that in centimeters or meters if you're a bit more comfortable with that as a unit. Eyes, I'm going to say they're grey. Her skin, I'm going to say it's sort of charcoal grey. That sort of, I want a little bit of brown in there as well. I'm struggling to describe this colour. It's a grey brown. And her hair, I'm going to say that she shaves her head. So she's got a shaven head. With all these details, that's starting to look like a complete character. So you've got a bit of personality. You might feel at this point that actually you're really comfortable writing the full backstory of this character, making them fit in with the entire setting that you've laid out.